Welcome back, friends. Today, we're diving into something truly special in the kitchen, a recipe that combines technique, flavor, and a touch of magic. Let's get to making the ultimate pastrami sandwich from ice-aged beef. Many people don't realize that the pastrami we know today started as a simple way to preserve meat in Eastern Europe. Imagine long, cold winters and families figuring out how to make their food last. Have you ever had to get creative with your fridge? The word pastrami comes from the Turkish pastırma, meaning pressed meat, when Jewish immigrants brought it to New York in the late 19th century. It changed entirely. In New York, pastrami met rye bread, mustard, and pickles, creating the iconic sandwich we know today. Street food turned into a symbol of culture and comfort. Have you ever had a bite that felt like history itself? The real magic is in the preparation. Beef is cured with coriander, black pepper, and garlic, then smoked slowly. Every step builds a depth of flavor that makes it unforgettable. I remember my first taste. I couldn't believe how layered the flavors were. Ice aging the beef takes it even further. The cold aging intensifies the taste and makes every slice melt in your mouth. Have you ever tried ice-aged meat? It's a completely different experience. Each sandwich tells a story, not just of ingredients, but of people, migrations, and culinary creativity spanning generations. Think about it. One bite, and you're tasting centuries of tradition. Even the choice of bread matters. Rye adds a subtle tang that pairs perfectly with smoky meat, while mustard gives that little kick. Do you have a favorite bread combo that just works every time? You can almost taste history. The old world techniques meeting modern kitchens. And suddenly, a simple sandwich feels like a connection between then and now. What fascinates me is how simple ingredients, beef, spices, bread, become something iconic when handled with care. Have you ever been amazed at how much difference a little patience makes in cooking? Pastrami sandwiches aren't just food. They're symbols of identity and comfort, bridging cultures and communities. Every bite tells a story. While I'm prepping the sauerkraut, let me tell you why it's such an essential part of this pastrami sandwich. It adds a tangy crunch that cuts through the richness of the meat. Sauerkraut isn't just a sidekick. It's a flavor balance, brightening each bite and making every layer more interesting. I'm just about to pack it into jars, and the smell, slightly sour, deeply comforting, is perfect alongside smoky, spiced pastrami. It's a little crunch with a punch of history. Do you ever use fermented foods in your cooking? Or is this your first time adding something like this to a sandwich? I'd love to know. Now I'm moving on to making the buns. There's something almost meditative about kneading dough. The texture, the scent, the warmth of the kitchen. Have you ever kneaded bread by hand? These buns aren't just any buns. They need to be soft, yet sturdy enough to hold all that pastrami without falling apart. It's a delicate balance of science and art. Shaping the buns is where creativity sneaks in. Each one gets a slightly different curve, a little signature touch, because even small differences make food feel personal. I love watching the dough rise. Yeast is such a magical ingredient, tiny organisms transforming flour and water into fluffy, airy buns. It's like a little kitchen miracle. Fun fact, the tradition of enriched bread with butter and eggs like these buns goes back centuries, giving bread a richer flavor and a tender crumb that makes sandwiches unforgettable. Did you know that the shiny golden top of the bun often comes from an egg wash? It's such a simple step, yet it makes the bread look and taste so much more inviting. Do you have a favorite type of bread for sandwiches? Or are you more of a classic white or rye person? I'm curious what everyone prefers. Now it's time to prepare the sauce that will coat our beef. We're not just using any meat, we're working with ice-aged beef, which has an incredible depth of flavor. Ice aging breaks down proteins and concentrates the taste, giving each bite a rich, buttery texture. If you're curious to see more dishes like this and how flavors come together in surprising ways, don't forget to subscribe. You'll want to see every step of this journey. While I mix the ingredients for the sauce, think about how each herb and spice interacts with the beef. The right combination can elevate the meat from ordinary to unforgettable. I always taste as I go. It's like painting, each layer adding depth. Fun fact, the cut we're using comes from a part of the cow with perfect marbling. That fat melts during cooking, keeping the beef juicy, while the sauce enhances every nuance of flavor. It's the small details that make a huge difference. I remember my grandmother preparing roast beef with a simple glaze. That first bite taught me how sauce transforms meat, giving it personality and character. Today, our sauce will do the same for this ice-aged beef. Each slice of beef absorbs the sauce differently, creating layers of taste. I love watching the glossy coating form. It's almost hypnotic. Do you ever notice how texture can completely change your experience of food? Historically, beef was often smoked, cured, or brined to preserve it. Our pastrami sandwich is a modern twist on these old techniques, blending preservation methods with bold, fresh flavors for today's palate. While spreading the sauce, I notice the way it clings to the marbling, highlighting the texture. It's little things like this that make a big difference in the final bite. Have you ever looked closely at your food like this? This sauce isn't just flavor, it's about balance. It enhances without overpowering, complementing the smoky, spiced pastrami and tangy sauerkraut. It's the glue that brings all the elements together in harmony. Fun story. Chefs often taste the sauce on a small piece of meat first, adjusting until it's just right. I do the same. It's all about finding that perfect marriage of beef and seasoning. Now the beef is ready, and it's time to slice it. I love this moment. Seeing the marbling, the tender texture. It's almost like unwrapping a gift. Every slice tells a story. I remember my first pastrami sandwich at a little deli in New York, and how the smoky aroma hit me before the first bite. Fun fact, chefs often slice pastrami extra thin, so every bite is perfectly balanced between meat, bread, and toppings. It's all about harmony. And as I finish stacking, I can already imagine the first bite. Warm, juicy, flavorful. Do you prefer your sandwiches stacked high or simple and neat? Now it's finally time to assemble the sandwich. I start by carefully slicing the bun in half. Next, I layer the ice-aged beef. Each slice is glossy with sauce, perfectly tender, and you can see the marbling catching the light. Then comes the sauerkraut, adding a tangy crunch that cuts through the richness of the meat. Now I add a slice of cheese, just enough to melt over the beef. That creamy layer adds depth and richness, tying together the smoky, tangy, and savory elements in perfect harmony. I give the sandwich a quick touch on the grill. The gentle heat melds everything together, The bun crisps slightly, the cheese melts, and the flavors start to sing as one cohesive bite. It's almost like orchestrating a small symphony in the kitchen. Finally, I press it lightly to finish. I can already imagine that first bite, the crunch of the bun, the juicy beef, the tang of the sauerkraut, the creaminess of the cheese. How do you like your sandwiches? Crispy, soft, or somewhere in between? Now I'm placing the sandwiches in a basket, arranging them neatly. Seeing them all together like this makes the effort feel worth it. It's almost like presenting little treasures. I'm about to go share them with the kids. There's something magical about seeing their eyes light up at the first bite. Food like this isn't just dinner, it's a moment, a memory in the making. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, for spending this time in the kitchen with me, and I hope you got a little inspiration for your own cooking adventures.